I finally got around to watching Joker Folie à Dookie.
What?
Sorry, the second Joker, Joker Folie à Deux, or whatever
Oh,
French nonsense they decided to go with.
I have not seen that at all, so I'm actually so excited for your take because I honestly forgot it existed, but it is on my watch list.
I will remind you that I watched the first one and I kind of didn't like it.
Yes.
Like really at all.
No, I recall. I think we had a whole discussion about it.
Yeah, so I did go in expecting to like it, actually, because I didn't like it and I disagreed with people.
Okay.
But no, I thought it was bad.
So the first one you went into and you went, wow, this is bad when you left. And the second one you went into and you went, wow, this is bad when you left. So it's just shit.
Everybody was like, this is a masterpiece. This is exactly how the Joker movie should be. And I'm like, this is stupid. And then they came out of the second one being like, this is awful. Character assassination.
And was it?
I mean, I did enjoy it more than the first. And in fact, I enjoyed the ending. A lot of people didn't. But I thought the movie had, too many plot holes. The musical numbers were weirdly placed, and the ending was kind of dumb and pointless, but I did kind of like it. I thought this movie was a very clear slap to people who don't understand the Joker.
Okay.
And it's clearly a sentiment that was missed in the first movie, because, the director very much is like, hey, if you like the Joker, you're not supposed to. So he had to fucking double, triple down on this movie, and people are now mad because I think they kind of went, wait a minute.
Hold on a second. I'm catching up to what you're doing. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, because this Joker was never really a good Joker. People just liked that he was I don't know, unhinged and criminal and bullshit. Look, Joker should be funny. Joker tells jokes. Joker tells funny jokes.
Yeah, well, I feel like this iteration was more of the reality of
mental health, I know. You said it.
No, I know, but if the Joker style villain were a real person, but that's not even necessarily fully, I think, accurate. It's they took the concept of the Joker and was this is how this would happen in real life. But the new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, they do a really good job of the Riddler being this is a very realistic depiction.
Paul Dano,
without
yeah,
it
he's fantastic.
Totally taking away from the concept of what the Riddler is.
Yeah.
And so I feel the Joker's you kind of miss the mark on the yes, he's supposed to be very dark humor funny on that part, but you did hit more of this is kind of the reality of if we were to introduce somebody like this in real time, this would kind of be their vibe.
I feel the biggest problem is it's all been downhill since Heath Ledger.
Yeah, he was a great Joker. He really set the bar high.
Yeah, Heath Ledger's the king of the movie Jokers, but also he kind of ruined the optics because that Joker, phenomenal Joker. I still don't think he's the quintessential Joker. He kind of has weird dark humor and the joke is that people die. And it's kind of funny, but at the same time it's not it's still not Joker,
Yeah, he's still not funny. He's more he's hitting that mark of part of Joker's story is that you don't really ever know his backstory. He's a pathological liar. Heath Ledger did a great job of that, but it's the same thing where it's that one much more spot on in my opinion. But yeah, what you're saying of you're still not there's not really a joke happening. You said, the punchline is just, you're killing people. And the pencil scene where he's watch me make a pencil disappear. That's fucking great. That's perfect. But again, we just repeat that same thing and cut and paste it every time where it's just, just murdering somebody, which is fine. But yeah, I would agree with you of fucking phenomenal depiction of the Joker, but we're still missing that humor element. It's kind of I feel they do this with Spider-Man 2 sometimes, where they sort of miss the point of Spider-Man is funny in some of the iterations. Or he's meant to be pretty fucking sarcastic. Obviously not as much in film as like comic books, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's kind of the same as Joker of like you're making a really good character that hits a lot of the stops, but like if you don't have the sarcastic humor part, like you're missing a very integral portion of this being.
Yeah, that's my biggest qualm with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a good Spider-Man. And Andrew Garfield did a better job, and Tom Holland is also doing a fantastic job. And so I feel like they're a lot closer to the mark, but they are doing their own thing, and I feel like that's fine.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing, but it's just a small criticism.
But I mean, back to Joker is I feel like after Heath Ledger, like all the Jokers have just been trying to channel Heath Ledger.
Holy fuck!
Like,
can we talk about Jared Leto?
Yeah,
both of us at the same time.
Jared Leto's just trying to do Heath Ledger Joker, but like twisted with a Z, and it's not good.
Leto, look, okay, who let Jared Leto have a career? Is step one. Step 2.
We can't bring this up every episode.
No,
though.
I know. That's why I'm moving on. But step 2 is like the concept, I feel like, of the Joker they wanted to go for could have been really good. And then he just, like, he looked like shit and he acted like shit. Like, it just was bad all around.
Yeah, absolutely.
The costume design was fucking terrible.
It was not good.
No, it was not good very fast is, like, the best way to put that. Just no.
I did really enjoy the courtroom scene in the new Joker because it was the closest to like Joker that we've gotten, where he's like representing himself as the Joker and he's got like the Southern accent, like the court will adjourn. Like it's funny, it's good.
That happened in the second one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it, so I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I was like, "I don't remember."
There's also little hidden moments like where Joker and Harley Quinn are like doing musical numbers and stuff. And it seems like, you know, like their relationship is super good on the surface. But then like it'll be parts where like she's like singing louder and then he just stops and he looks at her. And then he's just like, you're just making it all about you, huh? And then they like laugh it off. But like it's true that their relationship is toxic as shit.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
So like it's a neat way of like kind of like doing like a behind the scenes. It's not so sunny. Like they're not on stage like this.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the movie was stupid and pointless, and nobody needed to watch it. But I'm glad it happened because the Joker stands really needed to be knocked down a peg.
And this did it.
Welcome to We Have That Podcast at Home, the only podcast to let these bitches brew. I'm on brand Gamage.
And I'm on brand Rachel. And each week we play Russian roulette with our success and spin a wheel to find out the genre of the next week's podcast. Last week, our spin
You did this every week too.
Jesus Christ. Well, I don't think I fumble it that hard every week. I usually stutter over something, but we landed on comedy is the point here. So we're moving on.
Yeah, we landed on comedy. So we decided to do no stupid questions. That's what we decided on. Oh, yes. Wait. No, you decided to do no stupid questions, and I did something else entirely different.
And then I caught up.
Kind of, yeah. Even though, like, I said, hey, I don't want to do no stupid questions. I feel like it's too soon. I'm going to do something. We're going to do this. And you're like, got it. And then...
Look, you know how every week you're like, okay, I should replace my co-host? The answer is yes.
To how you make this my problem.
No. The answer is yes, you should, because my range, fucking terrible. Incapable of adapting to new situations when it comes to humor. I only did comedy sports for like a month, so I lost those skills very fast.
What are you talking about? No.
I did an improv group.
I did a rod.
And it was called Comedy Sports. I actually did it for like a whole semester and wasn't this terrible at it. But it was a lot more yes and, so I can say stupid shit and somebody rolls with it and then it eventually gets somewhere. Whereas you just go, no, you're a dumb bitch, which is fair.
Well, the difference is that I feel like a lot of the problems with yes and is in improv situations. Like you go to improv club or improv class, and it's just like, how do I take what you're saying and then do a ridiculous spin to put the spotlight on me?
Yeah, can
You
we
know?
can we for a moment sidebar into how ridiculous improv is? Like, I get it.
I love improv.
Difficult.
It's stupid.
It is so fucking dumb. Like, I will watch it, I will goddamn enjoy it, but it is fucking dumb. For that exact reason of, I am taking what you said and manufacturing it into a spotlight on me, and we are just essentially playing pick me with the fucking spotlight.
Dude, yeah.
And that's why it's funny, but that's also why it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. So, quick disclaimer. This episode is forcing opinions we may not agree with, so don't quote us on anything. We usually don't have a disclaimer because you kind of know what you're signing up for with us. But like, we're probably going to say things that are like, I don't know, offensive. But we don't mean any of it. Like, this is forcing us into a corner because what we're shooting for is, I don't know the title of what this is. It's a debate where we take turns doing debate questions, but the first person takes a stance and then the other person basically has to take a reverse stance.
Yeah, it's like town hall, only if we held town hall in the garage. So it's like we have that town hall at home, but it's so shitty we put it in the garage.
Yeah, I mean, like, within reason, like, because it is just kind of like an agenda where, like, when school shootings get brought up at presidential debates, you know, neither person's for school shootings, of course, but they have different ideas on it. Or, like, one makes it an anti-gun propaganda and the other one's, like,
pro-gun propaganda.
Into
yeah.
gay, whatever. Yeah,
makes it about the gays. The gays are shooting the children. That's our first opinion that you shouldn't quote me on.
But, yeah, so, like, you know, like, we're going to be taking different reverse stances, but that's not necessarily our opinion.
Yeah, no, the name of the game is that whatever question gets asked, one person gets to choose their stance, and the other person is obligated to take the opposite. So, much like that one time in college where I was on the anti-slavery side, I'm going to say a lot of things I maybe don't actually believe.
By the way, that's may actually not believe. She also still might believe in it. That's the disclaimer there.
Yes. You just don't know. I'm not going to tell you. You have to guess.
So fact checker has graduated into moderator. She is our moderator for this. How
much time do we each get?
I mean, like a couple minutes each.
Okay.
Like, you know, it starts with a stance and then a rebuttal and then another rebuttal and then another rebuttal per opinion. Like, it's 4 different.
Yeah.
Like,
it's in sections.
Yeah. So this was supposed to be a blind thing. Where we didn't know all the questions. We basically just compiled questions together and gave it to moderator. But moderator then messaged me after Rachel gave her her questions and went, "These are all very, very different than what you did."
Yes, mine were garbage, so I fluffed them up much like a porn fluffer, and now we have 2 erections battling against each other. One is just clearly still significantly better than the other. It'll be fine.
Yeah, one is like a post 50, like, prostate the size of an orange erection. So
yeah, like I took like 6 Viagras to get that. Gamage is just like a natural born morning wood. We're good to go.
In my defense, because like you were saying, like you didn't give me instruction. You could have messaged me anytime.
No, I could have asked. 100%.
I'm 30 seconds away from the phone at all times.
Unlike me, who takes 6 to 28 business days to respond, you are very available. And I actively, when I saw yours, was like, "Did you link a video example?"
I did link a video example. You were tagged in it right here. It's yeah. A good example of this next episode's dynamic. It's like
you know what?
Thing.
You're right, and I absolutely saved that in my phone.
You don't need to tell me.
Promptly never returned to it. I also want everybody to know that all I'm looking at right now is the fucking penis nose guy eating a bratwurst out of a piece of white bread.
It's pretty good, yeah.
This is what I'll be staring at for the remainder of the episode.
But I mean,
I'm locked in.
shitty planning and things going on fire is kind of like the motto of this podcast, so it's fine.
If we're doing more than phoning it in, we're doing so much more than we have ever told you that we would do.
Yeah, it's on our code. It's
our coat of arms.
E pluribus no plano.
E pluribus el shit. Just I wasn't even gonna add el shito. It's just el
That's
shit.
fine.
It's just shit. I gave up halfway through.
So I actually don't know most of yours because I only skimmed them, but I think that you've read all of mine.
I don't remember any of them. I just skimmed them to get a vibe of what you were talking about with the structure. So then I restructured mine.
Yeah, I gave yours a quick glance, and I just saw "Can a fish jump?" and I went, "Oh Jesus, we're not."
This stupid cunt. No, I added things to make them sound like yours, so they're all going to be
no
eloquently worded. But yeah, mine are more like no stupid questions. Yours are occasionally actually a fucking topic worth talking about.
Occasionally, all of them.
There's one or two that are sillier. Is my point here.
We'll see. All right, so let's start off. Moderator, give me a question.
I'm so hyped. I'm so ready for this. Gamage, do you want me to read it out loud to you or no?
I'll read it.
Okay.
Humans rely largely on nonverbal cues to understand the meaning and tone that is being
I'm sorry, there is such a long pause that when you said I'll read it, I thought you just meant in your head, and I was like, okay.
No.
Continue, my bad.
Humans rely largely on nonverbal cues to understand the meaning and tone that is being expressed to them. According to the research groups, sarcasm is a widely used form of communication that spans many cultures across the globe. Concurrently, approximately 50% of text-based messages are misinterpreted. This data implies that there is a need for expressing tone via text-based messages. Which font should become standard use for expressing sarcasm? Well, I believe that we don't need to have a standard font because most of the time people aren't changing the font on their phone. And for a lot of other people, what their font is on their phone is what they're reading anyway. So it's not like font's going to come through. What we need to remember to adopt is the \S. \S is universal internet lingo for sarcasm. It is the sarcastic tag. This is what we should be adopting in order to convey sarcasm across text.
While I agree with my debate partner that the \S is quite effective, I do think there is a way for us to code fonts to everybody's phone in a way that succinctly expresses sarcasm. I'd like to propose not necessarily wingdings, because that would require lots of deciphering that I don't think anybody is interested in being involved in. But I think if we create sort of a wingding-esque font that's sort of comical, sort of odd, kind of hits that same the SpongeBob meme where the letters are a couple of them are capitalized and lowercase. I feel like it sort of gives off that same vibe of clearly I am being sarcastic and bullshitting with you, and it's coming across. So if we transform the style of wingdings into actual lettering, I think that'd be a great way to do a sarcastic font.
My opponent is still under the assumption that we all have the same universal coding for phones, whereas I know for a fact that my opponent has sent me a video that she believes is dope lit, is actually in 180p because she took it with her iPhone and the encoding does not work on my Android phone. Again, I feel like we just need to convey with just a simple symbol at the end of a sentence. Trying to universalize fonts is just going to create problems in the long run.
Look, I just think we as an international community at this point have enough communication that we are capable of standardizing phone coding and we are capable of standardizing a font system. And I think that we're not taking advantage of that. And that I feel like could bring us together as a global community. If we were to pursue this, it, as you said, with, me sending you a video and it coming out horribly on your end, it sort of transcends that concept if we start using universal coding for all of our communication devices, that then I could perhaps send you a video that actually comes through with the quality in which I sent it, and you receive it at that quality if we pursue this font coding.
All right, and I think that is the end of the debate. I had the point, the rebuttal, and then the rebuttal, so, like, I'm not allowed to go again, but boy, I have some extra good points.
Does
drop it
fact
here.
checker get to decide if somebody won the debate?
Well, that's the thing about debates, is that there's usually no clear winner. Like, presidential debates is just fucking screaming, and then America votes, and we lose. That's
valid
debate, baby.
Fair enough. Fact checker, I think you should keep a tally of who you agree with on these.
Because apparently all you have to do is just be like, black people are eating cats and dogs, and then you become president. That is where we're at.
That's the pipeline that we're in, guys.
You can say whatever you want. You might win. Who cares? Fuck it. It's stupid. It doesn't matter.
Also, to answer fact checker's question, she asked if I felt like I won. No, I do not feel like I won.
All right, it is.
There you go. To be fair, does anybody? Well, I don't know. Trump probably feels like he won.
Who?
Trump.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said Sean, and I'm like, fucking, who's Sean?
I don't know, but he might feel like he won. Who knows? There's a Sean out there that's like, yeah. All right, fact checker, hit me. Or sorry, debate moderator.
Physically.
Homework has been argued as pointless and bloated, yet most schools still use it to this day. What is your stance on homework, and how would you change it? All right, here's my thing. As somebody who has been a teacher previously, I do think there is a merit to a certain amount of homework. I think currently, particularly in the U.S., I'm not going to speak on other countries because this is where we are. We're giving kids way too much homework. You can't work a 9 to 5, which, I mean, schools maybe like a 9 to 3, and then expect kids to do like 6 hours of homework for each class. That's freaking ridiculous. Even if it's like 6 hours of homework across the board for all of the classes, that's obscene. I once took a calculus class where it was like, here is the required quantity of equations for you to do to get it through your head. And if you need more help, like, here are these other ones that you can work on. It was a great system. We did like our 3 to 5 equations that we needed to do. And if you needed more help, you can go and ask. And I mean, in college, obviously, it serves the purpose of I'm paying for my education, so I can go pursue this. But I mean, we do this thing with kids where we don't give them enough autonomy until later in life, and then suddenly we expect them to take it all on at once. Do it in high school. Course correct the amount of homework you're giving. Make sure it's not rinsing and repeating information. It's actually like you are using the skills that you have to answer these questions, and make it, like 2 to 3 questions, 2 to 3 puzzles that they need to solve using practical knowledge. And that should be homework. It should not be I'm assigning you 40 questions tonight. Good luck. So I don't think homework is useless. I think we should have it. I do think it needs to be diminished and put on a more practical scale, both in relation to quantity and quality.
I'd like to commend my opponent for taking this seriously. I believe that homework should be completely abolished. I believe that further what we need to do is in class, when you have multiple classes, there needs to be one class fewer. Specifically, that is a class dedicated to doing your class work. Kind of like a study hall, but like, not just for the failing students or the try-hard students. Is a one uniform, everybody attends to it, study hall class at the end of the day where you do all the classwork that you were given for the day. None of that work should be going home because your little tiny brain needs social skills and fun in order to grow into a healthy brain. And you're not going to get that when you're forced to try to do math problems while it's sunny outside. It's not happening. And I'm living proof. My opponent is living proof that this is not a system that works.
While I agree with my opponent that absolutely, I do think that a study hall, fantastic idea. However, I think the concept of allowing for a study hall and calling it homework also helps students learn real life skills of time management. If you spend your study hall, not studying or doing your homework, that's on you. Now you have to go home and do it while it's sunny outside. And I don't think what you're suggesting negates the concept of homework. I think you're just allotting a set period of time during school in which to do homework. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I think that still is a situation in which there is homework that needs to be done.
My opponent is a rug muncher, and she's stupid.
How dare you, you penis licker.
More specifically... is that I don't think that all of the burden needs to be on the child of like, well, you need to learn by not doing it at school. Now you have to do it at home. I still think that's not cohesive because parents are working a 9 to 5. Both parents now in this awful recessive economy that we're in. So now the burden is pushed to the parents, or the parents need to check on the child. That's extra work on them. Because I know that a lot of the time, my mom put in a lot of work to make sure I got my homework done. But sometimes it was just like did you do it? And that was a lie because I didn't feel like doing it because it made me feel stupid, even though I knew I wasn't stupid. And it was just taking up my time where I know that I could get it all done in like 2 minutes if I had the time available in class. Because if you give a child the option between work and fun, this child is always going to choose fun. That is inherent in the child.
I know I'm not
also,
allowed. Go for it.
I concede my time.
I know I'm not allowed to rebuttal, but if you give this adult an option between work and fun, I'm pretty much going to choose fun.
Yeah, because we were raised incorrectly. That's what I'm saying. We have ADHD, and this system failed us.
Oh, man, you ever have cheating circles in high school?
No, I didn't.
Have we talked about this before of like trading?
We have.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
if you have ADHD, that's the path to go, guys.
Because my whole thing is that I didn't
like people?
I didn't like talking to people. So like the fact that I'd get it with people to like trade off things is like that was just not gonna happen.
You're like, fuck that. I'm out. I'm out and I'm down the street.
Moderator.
Next question.
Give to me a question.
She fell asleep.
That's fine.
She was like,
no stupid questions.
Jesus fucking Christ. They're talking about homework so passionately.
To the small p brain of some, any sexual act involving 2 men is considered gay. Considering this opinion, if a man has a vaginal-shaped fleshlight in his butthole and another man copulates with the vaginal-shaped fleshlight, is it considered gay? Then she says, I think we've discussed this before. We absolutely have.
Yeah, now, I submitted this question and I was trying to remember who I talked to about it. And I asked like 3 people this question. They were like, it was not me. And what?
So by process of elimination, you were just like, nah, fuck it. I'll just bring it on the podcast.
Yeah, well, because I figured she would remember. I just remember talking about it in the car with somebody, which means we talked about it and then I brought it up again.
Maybe. But back to the debate, it does state in the small p brain of some, and I will say that, yes, in the small p brain of some, like my opponent, they do believe that the sexual act involving 2 men is considered gay, and that is wrong. I do believe that if you have that opinion, then you're wrong. So, is having sex with a fleshlight considered sex at all? No, it is considered masturbation. That is like saying, well, if lesbians get together and use dildos, aren't they having heterosexual sex? And the answer is unequivocally no.
Look, here's my thing. If 2 men are getting off together, is that not homoerotic? If 2 women are together using a dildo, it is homoerotic. So 2 men copulating via a vaginal-shaped fleshlight inherently is homoerotic and thus a little gay.
Thank you for taking my point and then just rewording it. That was very helpful. I thank my opponent. That it is homoerotic. It is gay. Just like if two girls were to go ass to ass on a double-sided dildo, that's still gay. That's still homoerotic. So the same thing could apply to a man with another man and a fleshlight. That's still gay.
You said it's not gay in your first argument.
No, I didn't.
Okay, I interpreted it way wrong.
I was stating that if you're having sex with just a fleshlight, if you're masturbating, that's not sex at all. So the fact that you're doing it with a partner of the same sex, that is gay.
Okay, so I'm sorry. You are saying it is gay.
Yes, and
I apologize. Through your whole rebuttal, I got lost, apparently. I thought you were saying it is not gay because they are having the sexual act with a fleshlight.
It's fine. You just weren't listening. You were typing something.
No, I wasn't typing. Out. You will listen. I was not typing. I swear to God.
Let's throw this one out.
You know what? It's not homoerotic. You're fucking a vagina-shaped fleshlight.
But okay, but if lesbians get use a penis dildo, same thing.
You know what? It depends on the lesbians, because there have been situations that exist in time when somebody looks at the one wearing a strap on and they're like, you don't want me to fuck you with that because that'd be weird, right? Because you're the man in the relationship. And it's now weird. It's now a little bit heterosexual.
That is a dynamic that they need to work out themselves. However, it is still two lesbians together. That's gay.
What does it? Hold on. Does the level of gay change with how penis shaped or how vagina shaped the fleshlight or dildo is?
No, it doesn't. It changes based on the gender of participants. This is not even a debate anymore.
Look, I have nothing to say because I just agreed with you on accident with my first one, and I didn't even realize. I was like, damn, Gamage really went the hard route. I got this. No, so we both agree that two men having sex regardless of the fleshlight in the middle is pretty gay.
Absolutely. Even if that fleshlight is a woman and they're Eiffel Towering, that's still gay.
It's still at least 33.33% gay?
It'd be 50% gay. Because you're having sex with two people, and it is now cut in half as to being gay.
Or would it be 66.66% because two of the parties are being a little gay? And one of the parties is very straight.
No, because again, it's split between the couple that you're having. So I am a guy and I'm having sex with a girl and a guy. We're not even doing it right, though.
I'm saying of the three, of this situation, this throuple, it would be 66.66% gay because two of the men have to be at least a little bit into each other, whereas the woman is just being into men in this particular situation. Not from the perspective, not existing outside of this little, minute cosmic experience.
From the perspective of the woman, it is heterosexual 100% because all participants on her perspective are of the opposite gender.
Yes, so I'm saying if you average it out, then it's 66.66% gay because it's 33.33% straight.
But I'm talking about from the perspective if you're having sex with people. If you're on the outside and if you're watching porn and it's two guys and a girl, then yes, it is 66.6% gay.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
If you're on the outside perspective, I'm talking about if you are engaging in this
if I am the supporting beam of the Eiffel Tower is what you were saying.
Yes. If you're the supporting beam, not bean. Well, bean also.
Have you ever been the supporting beam in the Eiffel Tower?
If you're the supporting beam in the Eiffel Tower, you're a girl and both other sides are men, then it's heterosexual for you. Why is this the episode now?
I like that this debate that we totally agreed on turned into...
I like that we came around to still arguing on opposite sides.
If you're the supporting bean in the Eiffel Tower, I can't...
Put that on a t-shirt. Fuck. Supporting bean on Eiffel Tower.
It's just a little legume on Eiffel Tower. Oh, fuck. All right. I'm gonna wear that to Jasmine's wedding.
Please do.
Just an Eiffel Tower with a little legume in the middle. Oh, Christ. Okay. A recent study suggests that the average human brain may contain the equivalent of 1 plastic spoon of microplastics, about 7 grams. What stance do you take on this, and how would you address this growing epidemic? Well, I think we should increase it, because here's the thing. If I'm going to have a spoon in my brain, I would also like the full accompaniment of utensils. I want a spoon, a fork, and a knife, all made of plastic. I don't know if that would be like the fork is perhaps 6 grams because it's got little tongs instead of a full bowl, or if the knife is 8 grams so that it's sturdy enough to cut a steak. I'm not sure what the equivalent would be in grams of microplastics, but I would like the full equivalent of a full set of utensils so that you're not wasting my time.
Now, my opponent will have you believe that the plastics are good for your brain, whereas my stance on it is that the plastics are obviously bad for your brain. Because when you die and go to heaven, you're not going to be able to get in because you're not all there. There's plastic in you too. You think paraplegics are able to get into heaven? No, the wheelchair stays behind.
I need a minute. Here's the thing. I never said that the microplastics were good for you. I said it was... I believe I stated that I wanted the full utensil set, and you are correct that I did not state why. I think the utilitarianism, if I were to melt down my brain, I could recreate a utensil set.
Utensilitarian?
Yes, a utensilitarian is my stance. I am a utensilitarian. I'd like to be able to melt a human brain and synthesize a full set of utensils from it. So to answer the how would you address this growing epidemic, I would grow it further.
Those are all very good points, but I will go back to my original thing of this is a matter of church versus state, in that the state wants you to have plastics in your head, but the church knows that the plastics are the same kind of thing that you make dice out of, and dice go into D&D, and D&D is satanic. You do not want Satan's D&D dice in your brain because that's immediately a leash to hell.
Is it a short leash or a long leash?
I believe that we're done.
Okay. I rescind my question. You're correct.
A hot button topic in seemingly only America is gendered bathrooms. Do you agree with the practice of separating bathrooms by sex, or would you change it? I believe that bathrooms aren't gendered enough. I feel like too often bathrooms will be segregated to genders, whereas the bathrooms themselves need to be gendered. I should be able to walk into a bathroom and see that on the wall itself has a penis. I need to know that the bathroom I'm entering is a male bathroom. Not a bathroom for males, a male bathroom.
Yeah, and, contrary to this, I love the concept of walking into a hallway and it just being full of toilets. I don't care if there's separators, dividers, doors, walls, whatever. I just want a hall of toilets. I want to poop next to other people that are pooping, and that is harder to do if you gender things because, look, women don't always need to poop at the same time. Sometimes men and women need to poop at the same time, and if we can't hold hands while we do that, what are we doing here? Where are we going in life? If there's nothing more unifying than the two of us sitting down and pooping together as a unit, as a team. Make pooping great again. Mappa.
Now, my opponent has not considered the smell. You haven't thought of the smell, you bitch. Is that you are now combining the male feces and the female feces all in one hallway. That is a stank hallway. That is not how it works. I am a shy pooper. I can't poop even around my same gender. That is why I think that all bathrooms need to just be the gender that they're supposed to.
Look, my opponent would have you believe that he wants a male-gendered bathroom where it is obvious that there's a penis on the wall simply because he wants to know what bathroom he's in. False. He's trying loophole the glory hole system. If you can just fuck any wall that you see, then you don't have to go looking for glory holes. And that is the crux of the issue here, is he just wants to fuck the wall instead of looking for a fantastic glory hole partner. And you're going to blame it on the smell. You're going to blame it on the sharing. And you know what? We can create more vents. We can put out more poopery. We can be a unified front against the stank, but we can hold hands while pooping against this unified front of stank.
All right, and that's the end of that one.
I like this just went from like us taking topics really seriously to whatever the fuck is happening now.
No, it was always supposed to be you take a serious topic that's like a debate question and you do what we do. Go.
Condiments on steak is controversial in many circles, with A1 seeming unacceptable and ketchup considered a war crime. Does your platform agree with the voices of the people, and would there be any action against it? Look, previously in another episode, I accepted A1 sauce. That is simply a placating effort to align more people with my party for when we get to the presidential steak vote. To be perfectly honest with you, my platform does not align with ketchup or A1. I think that if you take a phenomenal steak and you add anything other than salt, pepper, perhaps garlic, I will let us stretch into butter and rosemary. But that is as far as I go. The presence of a sauce on a beautifully cooked, beautifully cut steak. This cow did not die for you to butter its ass in barbecue.
My opponent will have you believe that desecrating an American-born piece of beef with a condiment is un-American. But I want to turn the tables on you. Is that for some reason it's only when the beautiful American beef that I love so much, that is born in this country, God bless, that it's only acceptable in any form other than just being steak. Are you having your ribs dry, or do you not put barbecue sauce on them? Are you not putting ketchup and mayonnaise on your cheeseburger, or are you just eating it without anything on there? At what point do we consider it a bad thing? I like to think that, as an American, the one thing that we love more than anything is the freedom of choice. And my opponent wants you to be ashamed of your choice. You should be allowed to put whatever you want on your food. And we all turn a blind eye to chicken. If you're eating chicken nuggets, you dunk those fuckers in ketchup all day. But for beef, burnt ends, we can't do barbecue sauce? I disagree.
I have one final rebuttal for my opponent. 9/11.
That's the ripcord.
Remember that
break in case of emergency.
That Family Guy episode where she just keeps saying 9/11 and the crowd keeps going crazier. Oh, fuck.
I would like to forfeit the rest of my time. All right. Effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, California offers free breakfast and lunch to all students on school days. Some have argued that this is a socialism and have gone on to believe that socialism is the same thing as communism. What are your opinions on free school lunches, and how would you navigate changing this on the global scale? Now, I believe in this country. I believe in a thing called America and God. I believe in the corporations that feed us. They feed us. We don't feed ourselves. We go to the store. We pick up a TV dinner, and we eat it. We did not provide that food. So, to take food out of the mouth of Lunchables is just un-American. Lunchables is such a rite of passage. Lunchables are the thing that separate the haves and the have-nots in elementary school. You remember seeing Billy, his parents aren't divorced. They got him that big kid pizza lunch one. He's just eating that pizza. Comes with a Capri Sun. He's living. And what? You're gonna get the shitty fucking turkey ball, the turkey ball scoop on a plastic tray? No. We need this separation because that is what stimulates the economy.
Like my opponent, I believe in America. I believe in Jesus Cristo. Our kids are out there every day, struggling to become red-blooded, intelligent Americans. I think, fuck the concept of kids fighting over who has the Lunchable and is cool. I think Lunchables should sponsor our children's nutrition. I think schools should hand out Lunchables. If every kid is given the opportunity of a Lunchable, think about the progress we could make in our economic feats. If we have to push past the exceptional peak that we have achieved with Lunchables and continue on to a higher level of fantastic nutritional balance and economic goodness, think about what we could achieve. If every child in this country, every Christian, God-fearing child in this country has a Lunchable with Christ-blessed crackers, we could move mountains.
One thing my opponent has forgotten is that Lunchables is a corporation. It is a large corporation that is American grown. It is a huge staple in our economy. And now my opponent just expects them to just hand out their Lunchables for free to schools, to have the schools provide the Lunchables. Who's paying for this? The taxpayers paying for this. This is textbook socialism, and from what I just learned, is actually communism. And that is not okay in this country. I forfeit my time with disgust and I spit.
Look, if the students' parents are paying for these Lunchables individually versus through taxes, it makes no difference. Makes no difference. These Lunchables are being paid for. And what is America if not built on the progressive intrusion of companies on everyone's personal time and choices? I think if Lunchables are in school lunches, they get to decide whether it's crackers and cheese and meat or whether it's the pizza spread, which is basically still crackers and cheese and meat, but with sauce in between. They get to decide. And the schools, via the taxpayers, pay for it. And if our tax money isn't going to go to potholes, it should be going to Lunchables.
I know that I forfeited my time, but that's communism.
How dare you? We are not sharing a cow. We are sharing a cracker, a Christ-blessed cracker. And that is the end of this.
Thank you, moderator. I know that I only get one rebuttal.
Moving on. The makings of the, quote, grilled cheese is somehow a hot topic. Being anything added outside of cheese deems it a melt instead, such as tomatoes or onions. What is your stance on this, and how would you change the perception? I believe that other things can be added to this beautiful American grilled cheese built with Kraft cheese. If you're making your grilled cheese without American cheese, you can get out of this country. If you build a grilled cheese with a nice, oily, weirdly consistent Kraft slice, and you sprinkle it with a little bit of garlic, salt, and pepper, you've not only not added tomatoes or onions, but you have zested up a goddamn grilled cheese. You don't need tomatoes or onions. That's un-American. We don't eat vegetables here. We eat American cheese. Slices of delicious, extremely shaped cheese that melts poorly.
So is your stance on grilled cheese melts?
My stance is that fuck a melt. A basic-ass grilled cheese but with seasonings is perfection. But it has to be American cheese. Don't bring me cheddar. Don't bring me Gouda. It's American cheese.
My opponent wants you to believe that the American ideal is a specific one standard uniform thing, which could be considered racist if depending on who you ask. I believe that the beauty of America is how much of a melting pot we are, all of these different cultures together. And I believe that the best grilled cheese sandwiches are made with blends. I myself enjoy Munster, Havarti, and a Dubliner blend, and that creates the perfect pull, the perfect taste. You put a little bit of the ranch seasoning on the outside when it's grilled. Yum, yum, delicious. And I believe in including other things in there. Is the cheese still grilled? I understand that different colloquialisms of paninis and melts exist, but I feel like what you make should be true to you. If you have to fall under what other people define for you, then you're not living the American free way.
I have but one thing to say to my opponent, and that is, how dare you? Comma, garlic is Italian. Emphatic period. I rescind the rest of my time.
I will add that the ranch seasoning I spoke of, which is delicious and available at any Trader Joe's near you, which is an American company that you should support, does include garlic, and therefore still holds up everything that I said. And the fact that we need to limit the kind of cheese we use to specifically American cheese, the closest cheese to plastic, chemically. Which, as you'll remember, my opponent believes we should have more plastics in the brain. This is a part of her agenda to continue the plastification of our children. I forfeit my time. According to Merriam-Webster, the definition of jump is to spring into the air. According to Cambridge, the definition of jump is to push yourself suddenly off the ground and into the air using your legs. With these definitions taken into consideration, can a fish jump? Well, I'll remind you of the Cambridge definition of jump is to push yourself off of the ground and into the air using your legs. A fish does not have legs, nor is on the ground. It is in the water. And that's all I'll say on that.
And I'll remind my opponent that Merriam-Webster defines the definition of jump as to spring into the air. And I think Cambridge's definition of jump is ableist. They're implying that I had legs to begin with. They're implying that I'm on solid ground. What defines the ground? If I jump on the second floor of a home, I'm no longer on the ground. Am I not jumping? Is a fish not jumping after they've propelled themselves out of the water? Am I not jumping when I am on the third floor of a building? I think Cambridge has an extremely narrow-sighted view of what jumping is. I don't think it acknowledges any of our disabled veterans and their possibility of lack of legs. I think if the fish can jump, our veterans can jump.
I would like to point out that some veterans can't jump, and deciding that, well, of course, somebody who's paraplegic or in a wheelchair can jump, that's just not true. That is not reality. And they know that, but for some reason, my opponent would want to fill their heads with fanciful ideas that they can jump, when in fact they can't. We need to accept our limitations and be happy with what we have. Not if we just judged every animal based on their ability to climb a tree, then only monkeys are going to win. Everybody needs to have their own ideals of what they are good at to excel themselves into society. And another thing is that my opponent is pushing dangerous ideas of evolutionism into this, where the fish is just going to eventually be able to jump. What's next? What's next, America?
I think this is an extremely pigeonholed view. If I take a motorcycle off of a ramp and I go over a car, I jumped the car. I think the definition of jump is immensely shortened by Cambridge, by the implication that you must have legs to propel yourself into the air. And I think that that we are absolutely diminishing the efforts and beliefs of the American people by saying that you can only jump if you have legs. We are all capable of jumping. Whether you are a tadpole or a fish or a person without legs, you too can jump. As of this year, the current number of Pokemon has reached 1,025 Pokemon. Some believe that this is too much and some not enough. If given the opportunity, what decisions would you make regarding this? I think sometimes we as the American people, we expand our industry to include so many things because we are looking to pursue new options. Oftentimes, I think this leaves us weak in other places. I think we should cull half the herd and focus on our strongest 500 and whatever half of 25 Pokemon is, and just really, really put our efforts into those. Let the fruits of our labor in the love that we put into those 500-something Pokemon go forth. And we can show the world what we're made of.
My opponent wants you to believe that Pokemon is an American company and therefore exhibits American ideals. I would remind the opponent that Pokemon is a Japanese corporation. It is also the largest IP in the world by at least double what Disney has. So I believe that culling them as a way to focus more on half of the Pokemon and make them, bigger, that's not what's going to help us as Americans. We need to see this company fall. And the best way to do that is to increase the number of Pokemon. We have a Pokemon that's just a ring of keys. We need more of that. We need more mundane things. We need this company to get bloated and bloated and bloated like a beached whale until it pops. That is the only way we're going to see this company fall. And that is the only way that we, as Americans, are going to move forward.
Look, my opponent would have you believe that he is trying to bloat a Japanese company by adding a Pokemon named Doorbell. In fact, he is not. He is a Japanese economy sympathizer, and he is looking to promote this company even further. I think since Japan's Pokemon have entered our market, we need to make them our own. We need to cull the half that we are not looking to promote, and we need to strengthen the portion that we have adopted as our own and leave the rest behind.
My opponent seems to think that I give a fuck. But my opponent believes that I am a Japanese sympathizer, but I will have you know that my opponent eats cats and dogs.
How dare you? I eat guinea pigs.
Moderator, can I have my time, moderator? Moderator? Too much time. Fuck you.
You know what? Fuck the moderator. We can agree on that.
I'm supposed to have special treatment because we're married. What about that thing where you're not allowed to testify against me?
Are we in court? Have I said this under oath?
I mean, our debate's kind of like court. You both wasted everyone's time.
Well, you're not wrong there. I think we can all agree on this.
Moderator, you're not wrong, but I will have to remind you that we as Americans have the freedom of choice. And the freedom of choice, in my opinion, is what I decide to listen to. And what I listen to is music. I listen to good music.
Yeah, you do. I listened to Set It Off, and you described it perfectly. Really can't recommend enough. They were great.
Did you listen to their older stuff that did sound like the Fall Out Boy stuff?
Yes. No, it was really good.
You like that too?
Yeah, I mean,
power
okay.
to you.
I mean, I was into all spectrums of what they had going on, but I was honestly, I was just hyped for an age of music that has kind of died off to circle back into motion, and that a little bit plays into who I have to suggest this week.
That's good. I did listen to Emmy Grace. Emmy Grace is good. I didn't listen to the other ones that you labeled off that were kind of with her.
Because they were just okay.
Yeah. But I did check out Every Day I'm a Little Bit Closer, and it's very lo-fi. I did love it. She has insane talent, so I could see her doing stuff.
I can see her blowing up at some point.
I liked Cut You Loose is very good. I liked it. Then I listened to Pick Up the Sticks, and it's like a completely different artist. But Heart in a Cage is certainly the favorite one I found like so far because it's got a chorus to it. It's fantastic. Moving on. Gamage Rabbit list number 19 is Snowblood. Not the doom metal band, the electronica singer who lent vocals to my favorite Mystery Skull song, Hellbent. Her sound is ADHD rave, if that makes sense.
I'm so excited to listen to this.
Like the song I'll recommend is Vampire Love. Vampire Love is literally the thought of, I need a full rave set, but I only have 4 minutes available with which to rave. Because the song is like up and down, but like it goes into like 210 beats per minute, like in like less than a second. You're like, whoa, this is so fast now. And then it's over like immediately. But like it does it a couple times in the song. It's such like I need to rave in 4 minutes. That's what this song is. And that's what a lot of her songs are. It's fast and spiky. I love it. Other songs I'm going to recommend are I'm Ready, which is kind of the same, and Do/or/Die, which is also a fantastic song.
Sorry, I'm saving those.
And I'm rescinding the rest of my time.
Are they forward? Are they actual slashes?
Yeah, it's Do/or/Die.
My recommendation for this week is another victim of the alternative indie pipeline, and it's Noga Erez, which I don't think has any fucking business being in the indie alternative pipeline whatsoever. But since we have talked about it being a catch-all umbrella, she's there.
Man, I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill.
Yeah. Noga Erez is an Israeli artist, but she does like EDM, electronic pop, hip hop with a little bit of like rock influence here and there. Her song from 2017 was called Dance While You Shoot, and that's kind of what got her a little bit more famous because it was used in an Apple campaign. That one has very like heavy EDM influence. But my recommendations for you are honestly her whole album, The Vandalist, which came out recently, is quite good and has a lot of hip hop influence. But some of her songs are much more mellow and have sort of like sad, slow vibes. I don't know if you know what I mean, because I really don't know how to describe it well, of like sad emo music from the era of Fall Out Boy. I feel like is like there's a couple of her songs that have sort of that like cutesy vibe, I guess. But are... Yeah, like, I don't know if I'm describing that well or if you're going to know what I mean. But it's almost like a cutesy sad vibe. Like, I really don't know the best way to describe that. But either way, Vandalist from 2024 has a lot of, like, hip-hop influences into it. It's not so much EDM. And then a couple of her slow songs are just quite good. The two songs I'm going to recommend from that album are A+, featuring Ravid Plotnik. Significantly more hip-hop influence and has a whole rap in it that is, I believe, in Hebrew, which is quite cool. And then the lyrics that I went and translated them are quite good. And then Mind Show is towards the end of that album, and that's a song about like turning around your mental health even when you don't really know where to start, and it's quite a good song. So, Noga Erez, spelled Noga space Erez.
And I'm not touching that because of the Israeli Palestine conflict right now. So,
and we're done with debating. So thank you for listening. And if you like what you heard, or you just fucking hate our opinions, please like, subscribe, and download on whatever your most favorite podcasting places. Leave a comment about how much you hate our opinions. We would love it. If you want us to talk about a thing, you can email us at whtpah@gmail.com. That's woodpaw@gmail.com. You can follow us on We Have That Podcast at Home, all one word, on Instagram, or find us at whtpah on bluesky.com. That's woodpaw on Blue Sky.
I want to thank me for the use of our theme song. Change a song title to have the word swing in it, off of the album IDK Something Random. And it's available at Make Up a Random Retailer, real or not, but use Wyoming as the running joke. Oh, I forgot to edit these prompts. Well, whatever.
Oh, awkward. Well, next week, hopefully Gamage will have his shit together, and we will be tackling the illustrious and fine art
it's
of...
my fault.
I recently learned that Gamage can hear this sound again, and we're doing pop culture.
Pop culture, we're doing a movie, we're doing a movie.
Okay.
I'm an Upper Gamage. Thank you for joining.
We have a podcast at home.
Thank you for listening to We Have That Podcast at Home.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.